Hi folks, how you doing? RussellTrueResults303.com. Check out the website, link in the description box, along with some other videos. Check it out, mind, body, spirit, fitness, putting the healing back in health. Coming at you today with a video on, the language of the body that they don't talk about. Right? They'll always say there's body language. You can read body language on people. Now, first of all, this is my first video in a new background. Check it out. I'm dog and house sitting for my good buddy. So I'm here. I wanted to do it in front of the window over here. You can see that's why it's really bright. Hopefully this video is not going to turn out too bad. But it's snowing, so I was hoping to get a real nice picture of the snow, but it didn't work with the window. So, but anyways, the the unspoken language, right? That's what they say, body language. You can read someone's body language. When someone's kind of closed in like this, that means they might be kind of nervous. I'm not a professional. I don't really know much about it, but that kind of means they might be insecure, afraid, something along those lines. Versus if they're more open and out, they're more accepting of things, maybe more confident of themselves, more open to things, maybe even intimidating, right? They say if a woman mimics your body movement, that means she is into you. They can say, flip of the hair, the way they sit, if they're facing you, if they're away from you, all these different things will tell you, or at least give you some information about the person that you're talking to. There's that saying that 90% of things that are said between people have nothing to do with words. Something like 90%. Yeah. Something along those lines, right? But there is a forgotten body language that nobody talks about. And for me, I've made a couple videos on it, and some of the people I know that watch the videos, they think it's a very intelligent conversation or topic or the way you go about it. So I want to bring it out into the open. And what is it? It is a paper, and now there are many study guides out there about this. Is actually multiple papers, multiple. They might even be considered homilies by Saint John Paul II, Pope John Paul II. I think my camera's moving on you. Sorry, fellas. Right? But so I think they said this is actually over like a year or a 2 year period where he gave speeches to people, right? And I guess before it was something where I can't remember when I was listening to it, where the Pope would come out and just kind of do a meet and greet. And I think he was the first Pope to actually use this time as a time to teach people instead of it just kind of being a meet and greet, take some pictures and things like that. And what is it called? It's called theology of the body. And this is going to be kind of the basics and the foundation of Christian sexuality. A lot of people want to ask the question, why does the Catholic Church teach what it teaches? Where are they coming from? This contraception is bad, premarital sex and things like that. Homosexuality and things like that. And this is where the Pope really breaks it down and kind of talks about the theology of the body. So, what is theology? It is the study of God, if I remember correctly. Now, religion is the study of the different religions, but theology is studying God, right? If I remember correctly. So now it's theology of the body. If you are a Christian, you believe that God took on the flesh of man, right? Came down and became man. The word became flesh. Jesus, God, humanity and God unite together. So now it's theology of the body. It's study of God within the body. It's studying the body, right? So studying the body as a perspective of God. And since God has come down to be the true example of what love is, of what grace is, of what forgiveness is. And I have one, the one that I use, I got from my cousin. Now this is it's an extensive study guide, right? This is 10 CDs, and each CD is an hour to an hour and a half long. So imagine that. That's how many different talks that the Pope gave. And they it's actually a textbook. I think the theology of the body is a textbook, but they made, it's like this thick. I think they said it's like as thick as a phone book, but they've broken it down into study guides. The one I think I have is Naked and Unashamed. It was my cousin's. She gave it to me. Naked and Unashamed. If not, just YouTube theology of the body and just kind of get a glimpse. I think if you actually YouTube them, some of the talks are really only 15 minutes, because they break them down into smaller videos. So they'll just be 15-minute talks. You can kind of see what the Pope is trying to get across of what is theology of the body. It's God taking on the form of the body and now how sacred the body is. One of the greatest quotes I've heard of the Pope and relating it to pornography is he says that, there's nothing wrong with sex. People think that Catholicism and Christianity shuns sex. Well, God created sex, so it's not bad. But one of the great quotes that Pope John Paul II said was, the only problem with pornography is not, it's not that it shows too much of the woman, it's that it doesn't show enough. The woman is just looked upon as an object. And we don't get to know her mind, her soul, her spirit, her thoughts, her feelings. We don't get to fully connect with the woman. And that's why pornography is bad, because it just gives us a false view of the beauty of a woman. And I'm guilty of using pornography and doing those things. So, and that could be another reason why men, we are so emotionally disconnected from our loved ones, females, our wives. This is going to be one of the main problems when you've been neglecting these things for so long, and then all of a sudden you get into a relationship where you actually have to get to know the person and love the person and see them as a human being instead of just a figure on a screen. It is difficult to make that transition. I've made videos on that. I'll post some of them in the description box. Hopefully you can look at those. But like I said, theology of the body, the forgotten way the body speaks to us, right? The real, in my opinion, the real way the body speaks and the language of love that it gives off and how we should see it and how sacred it is. So once again, there's some food for thought. Like I said, check it out. Theology of the body. The one I was using was, I think it's Naked and Unashamed. And there's a bunch of them. There's so many out there. And his name was Christopher West, Naked and Unashamed. All right. So I hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel. And once again, even if you're not religious, give it a go. Look at it. Get an understanding for it. A lot of people don't understand the teachings of the church, and that's fine. But don't be ignorant and do your own research. And watching any of my videos on any topic is not research. You've got to be able to back it up with multiple sources, right? So I hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel, share and like these videos.